The deepest hole humans ever drilled took 20 years of work and reached 0.2% of the way down. Today, you are falling the entire 4,000 miles. You step over the rim of that abandoned drill shaft and begin a fall through more layers, records, and impossible heat than any journey on the surface could offer. The crust beneath your boots averages about 18 miles thick, which sounds mighty, until you learn it wraps the planet as thinly as an eggshell wraps an egg. You drop past the deepest mine on Earth at 2.5 miles down, where the naked rock is so hot workers pump down slurries of ice just to survive. A little further sits the deepest cave anyone has ever squeezed into, at over 7,000 feet, and with that every human depth record is officially above you. At 7.6 miles, you pass the tip of that famous borehole, where the rocks grew so hot they bent like plastic and swallowed the drill's whole. From here on, no person and no machine has ever been. Everything below this line we learned by listening to earthquakes ripple through the planet like a giant bell. Welcome to the mantle, which holds 84% of Earth's volume, a world of solid rock so hot and squeezed that over millions of years it slowly flows. That flowing rock creeps along at roughly the speed your fingernails grow, and yet it is strong enough to drag whole continents around the globe like rafts. Around 100 miles down, you enter diamond country, where crushing pressure bakes plain carbon into gems that volcanoes occasionally rocket to the surface like express deliveries. Deeper still hides the transition zone, where a mineral called ringwoodite may lock away several oceans' worth of water inside solid rock, like the world's strangest sponge. Check the thermometer, because the rock around you now burns hotter than fresh lava, and the pressure has climbed past anything human machinery has ever survived. In the lower mantle, the squeeze grows past 1 million atmospheres, crushing familiar minerals into exotic new forms that simply cannot exist up in the daylight. By 1,800 miles down, you approach the sharpest boundary inside our planet, a cliff between solid rock and something vast, glowing and completely liquid. You break through into the outer core, a hidden ocean of molten iron and nickel 1,400 miles deep, churning around you at nearly 5,000 degrees Celsius. Those slow, swirling currents of liquid metal behave like a colossal dynamo, generating the magnetic field that wraps our entire planet in an invisible protective cage. Without that shield, the solar wind would slowly strip away our atmosphere and oceans, which means this glowing metal sea is quietly keeping every living thing alive. Something strange happens to your weight down here, because with so much of the planet now above you, gravity itself begins fading with every mile you fall. Ahead of you glows the inner core, a solid metal ball about 760 miles in radius, roughly 2/3 the size of the entire moon. Its surface blazes at about 5,400 degrees Celsius, which is comparable to the surface of the sun, sitting quietly inside our own planet right now. And yet it stays solid, because 3.6 million atmospheres of pressure squeeze the iron so hard the atoms simply are not allowed to melt. Stranger still, the inner core spins at its own slightly different pace, and some scientists suspect another even smaller core hides nested inside it like a secret. As you close the final miles, the pull of gravity dwindles toward nothing because the planet's mass now surrounds you equally from every single direction at once. Then you arrive, the exact center of the Earth, where you float utterly weightless inside a blazing metal heart, while the thermometer finally slams its ceiling. Fun fact from physics: if a tunnel ran straight through the planet, a simple fall would carry you to the far side in about 38 minutes. Now for the truth nobody expects, every single thing you just saw is scientific inference, because no human eye has ever observed any of it directly. We have sampled comets and photographed black holes, yet the deepest any machine has physically reached into our own planet remains that lonely 7.5-mile hole. So gravity flings you back the way you came. The metal sea, the flowing rock, and the sleeping diamonds whipping past like stations on a night train. You burst out of the shaft into ordinary sunlight, where the ground feels solid and calm and extremely unwilling to admit what it is hiding underneath. So the next time someone calls the ground boring, remind them that 4,000 miles beneath their shoes, a ball hotter than the sun is spinning right now.